Hello, I'm Celebrant Belinda Clark, and I'm here tonight to talk to you about wedding plans for all of you outside brides. Is there anybody there? Anybody there? Yeah. Okay, well, I'll just waffle on. This is Sam, my able assistant here. So hello, Sam. This is Sam. He's going to be keeping an eye on comments and questions. And he's just told me that there's somebody watching, but I can't see who it is. Oh, there are 3 of you. Oh, hello. Hello, this is exciting. There are more of them than there are of us now, Sam. So welcome to you all. And thank you to Emily and Alan for inviting me. Unfortunately, I don't have a loud shirt, so you've just got to put up with me as I am. And I don't even have a baby to show you to sort of bounce around in the background. I've just got my potato. There you go. My potato is here because I think that when you've met your potato, you should marry them. There you go. So I want to cover 3 areas tonight, and those are probably quite obvious too. There's the practicalities of organising an outside wedding, the legal aspects of using a celebrant, and also the ways in which you can personalise your ceremony so that it is really just about your love story. You're welcome to ask me any questions as we go along. I'd rather talk about what you're interested in than just sit here waffling. And if we haven't got enough time, then I can always pop in again another day. So let's begin. Now, I've already got one question from Hannah, and she's asked about seating arrangements and about alternatives to hymns if you want people to sing along at your ceremony. I'll cover seating arrangements in a minute in practicalities, but I've just got 3 little songs that I thought you might want to use. But there's loads and loads. Evening, Kim. Kim's just appeared with us, Sam. The comments are coming up. We weren't sure if the comments would appear. 3 songs that I thought of straight away, and that's 1,000 Years by Christina Perri. That's quite a nice one for people to sing along. Don't forget, you will need to give them the words if you want them to join in. Otherwise, you could end up just singing on your own. Stevie Wonder, who's got a lovely song called Too Shy to Say, and that one always works well with a group sing-along. And also Cat Stevens' song, How Can I Tell You? That's a really romantic one. But of course, if you've got little guests there and your grannies and whoever, you can always do If You're Happy and You Know It. Have a look on Pinterest or something like that. There's loads of videos of songs of people singing along at weddings. So anyway, let's think about the practicalities of organising an outside wedding. This one isn't really for the bridezillas, because there are just so many things that you can't control, that if you're a total control freak, you're just going to set yourself up for huge amounts of stress. And that's not what any of us want from an informal outside wedding at all, is it? So first things first, think about your venue. Maybe you'd like somewhere that feels very remote, but is actually really easy to find. And your suppliers and your guests will thank you for that. So if you're in a forest or on a beach or up a mountain, you're going to need to be quite specific about the exact spot where they'll find you, because you don't really want your granny wandering around the beach going, hello, are they here? So if you are going to go remote and not to a venue that's easy to find, you will need to put some sort of flags or something along, send a little map, like a treasure map maybe, out to your guests. So how are they actually going to manage to get to you once they figure out where you are? If it's outdoors, it might be a bit rainy and boggy. So ladies in high heels, not going to be a runner really. So on your invitations, make sure that they understand that they may need wellies. Maybe provide some wellies for anybody that hasn't got any. But make sure that your guests are comfy in actually getting to you and they're not falling over, breaking their ankles or anything like that. Okay, so thinking about when you actually have found your ceremony space and you've decided, yeah, this is my venue, you want to go along perhaps with your celebrant to think about the placing of your ceremony. So you'll need to be there at roughly the time of day that you would be holding your service, because the sun will be in a particular position. You don't want everyone standing like this, not able to see what's going on. You don't want the wind blowing across and making you, if you're having a veil, all over the place, or blowing your guests out of their seats. where's going to be shady. So if it's a really hot sunny day, your guests will need some shade, so maybe some leafy trees around, or maybe put a canopy up or something like that. Really important to remember that we can control a lot of things, but in England we can't control the weather. So always have a plan B, even if the plan B is brollies. Okay, so are you having a shelter? So are you having teepees, bell tents, marquees? There's loads of suppliers in this group who are excellent, and you will have no problem at all. Oh, hello, Louisa. She's saying she's done lots of sing-alonging songs, cheerful ones. I'm a believer. That's a nice one. 500 miles. Ain't no mountain high enough. Oh, she's got so many more good songs than I've got. You can all read those in the comments. How sweet it is to be loved by you. It must be love. Oh, she's a good one. She's backing me up here. Thank you. We celebrants stick together, you know. So, plan B, shelter teepees. If you're confident about the weather, maybe you could go for a parachute strung up between trees. It's really full on romance there. And it's quite easy because there are videos online from the parachute shops that you can see how to actually hoist them up and light them. So think about the vista. So when you're standing there and your photographer's snapping away, you don't really want sort of the motorway in the background or something that's not going to set your scene. So think really carefully about how you're actually going to position yourselves. Hello, Claire. Hello. You're okay? Nice one there. Just waffling on. Okay, so think about it. Think about where your photographer's going to get the best shots and how you're going to group people to make sure that when you see your album, you go, oh, look at that, that looks really nice. Your celebrants will help you with that as well. So you've got all your guests. They've found where they're going. There's loads. Yes. We're all happy to sing because we all like the sound of our own voices, don't we, Louisa? So anyway, where are you people going to sit? So something that Hannah asked me in her question earlier on today was about how to arrange the seating. And I would say that really depends on your location. If you've got a clearing in the woods, then you might want to make a circle around the couple, so you create them as the central point in that, or you might create an arena where they're at the front, but everyone's in curved rows, making it really lovely and friendly. And are you going to have an aisle? Because if you're going to have an aisle, you'll need to be able to walk in. I've seen it done with a spiral, so the couple actually walk through the guests and into the centre of a spiral. That's going to obviously determine on the amount of space you've got available and the number of guests. Hannah's having 80 guests. So I would say that probably an arena style would work if your space suits it. Okay, and what are they sitting on? Because bales of hay can be hired really cheaply and delivered to site and then covered with blankets or tablecloth, that sort of thing. Cheap and cheerful. Think about chair hire. You might ask everyone to bring their own spiral. Yeah, you see. Think about people bringing their own deck chairs, a bit festival style, you know, keep it cheap and cheerful. Beg, borrow, steal, any deck chairs, that sort of thing. And also one thing I would say to you is while your friends might be happy to sit on hay bales and to sort of just chill out around the place, your grannies, they might find it quite difficult to get up and down. So it might be nice just to have a couple of chairs with arms on so they can get themselves in and out. Now, power is something that Alan's talked to us about in a previous live feed. So I'm not going to talk particularly about power. But I'm going to talk about sound and acoustics. Is your celebrant going to need a PA system? Most of us, as you can imagine, are quite used to projecting our voices and can talk over most things. Is your celebrant going to bring a PA system? Most of us have got them, but you will need someone with a Bluetooth device so that you can stream your ceremony music. Someone you trust, because otherwise they're going, rehearsals, very important. Timing's really important as well for your day, because if you want a particular light for your photographs, or if you're on a farm, something like that, you really don't want to be making your vows as the cows are heading just behind you on their way to be milked, because they make a heck of a racket. And you don't want to be drowned out by things like that. So have a word with the landowner, see what they've got planned for the day and see what you've got planned for the day and work with them. Oh, hello, we've got 7 people with us now. That's really exciting. So that's really important. Choosing the right celebrant for you is absolutely crucial. And we've got one online with us this evening. There may well be a couple of others lurking in the background. And there's quite a few of us in this group. So you should be able to find someone who's a good fit for you. I could say that I am the best celebrant, I'm the one you want, you should book me, there you go. But I'm not going to do that because everyone's got their own preferences. And it's really important that you have a good look around and have a nosy and chat to them before you actually book someone. Most of us work all over the country, so don't feel that you can only have someone who's near to you. We're all happy to travel and we'll negotiate our rate accordingly. I always think it's like a comfy shoe. When you try a few on, you'll know the one that's right for you. And high heels aren't for everybody. Flat heels aren't for everybody. There's a huge choice out there. So, legals. There's some confusion about legal marriage and celebrants. A lot of the registrars are referring to themselves as celebrants now, but they are restricted by their legal ceremonies. And if you're in Scotland, a humanist celebrant can indeed legally marry you. But for the rest of the UK, we can't do that. So just as they do in Europe, or lots of Asian families, religious families do here, you need to separate out the legal element and the ceremonial element of marriage. So you'll give notice in the usual way as you would wherever you were going, and then you would need to legally register your marriage in a short statutory or basic ceremony in order for it to be recognised for tax purposes, inheritance, that sort of thing. And usually couples do that in the registrar's office just with their 2 witnesses. There's only 43 words that we're legally required to say, and that's to declare yourself free to marry, which is called the declaration, and to agree to marry each other, and that's the contracting. It costs about £46, and then you'll have to pay for the certificate on top of that. It takes about 15 minutes to do, really, so it's not a huge thing. And after you've done that, then the world is your ceremonial oyster. The other legal aspect might not be an issue for you if you're using a venue that often have weddings. But if you're saying your vows on private land, it is good manners to ask permission. Some of the parks locally to me in the Midlands charge a small fee, and it's always better to check that out before you turn up with all your guests than to be kicked out halfway through your ceremony. Nobody wants that to happen, do they? So, personalising your ceremony, or keeping it simple, your backdrop should reflect your personal tastes. I've got a Pinterest page where I keep all my themed wedding ideas, and there's just so many ideas on there that you can just lose days looking. So have a go over there, just type in the theme, whether it's biking, whether it's cosplay. There's loads and loads of ideas, but make it your own. Once you've got your basics planned, you can start to think about what you'd like to include in your ceremony. So your music, your entrance, any readings or symbolic ceremonies, hand fasting, that sort of thing. And there are loads of readings out there that you can, if you just type in wedding readings, you'll find them. And I can guarantee that Captain Corelli's mandolin will come up in that list. It's very popular. But you might have a reading that's from your favourite book or from a film. Or you might have a granny who writes really lovely poems, and you can have something written just for your special day. It's your day, make it unique. And the celebrant will have researched your love story with you, and they'll guide you in preparing your vows to each other. If you're shy, then they can be read by the celebrant, but I really would encourage you to say your own words straight from your heart. And finally, before I hop off, I'll ask you to think about your music for your entrance and your exit. You might want another piece so that when you're posing for your pictures or while you're doing a sand ceremony or similar sort of thing. By using a celebrant, the whole idea of that is to break free from the blah. And so you should make your ceremony all about you. If you want to cosplay it, you cosplay it. You know, if you want your pets and friends to play a role, then talk to them. Talk to them about what they could do, what they'd like to do as part of your ceremony. My final advice to you tonight, do I have a favourite reading? Oh, I actually don't, because my sister had the Velveteen Rabbit and I quite like that. But I probably would go for something a bit random, Smith's Lyrics or something like that. The double-decker bus one, that's my very favourite. If I was making a vow, that's the vow I would make. My final advice is be brave. This is your day, so don't be afraid of what anyone else thinks that you need. I've been Celebrant Belinda Clark, and thank you for taking the time to listen to me tonight. And I'd like to thank Sam as well. Sam, come and say bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.